We're going to close the low at all times, and we're going to keep the bypass open, okay? When it comes to bleeding, you don't bleed it any different than you did. If we're here or here, we're going to trickle number 4, go to 1, off, on, off, 2, 3, and turn off 4. So I'm not going to go through that process here, but we will start, and I'll start and do the double check. Take our high hose, we're going to hook the number 2 test cock. And again, we can charge our gauge. We can turn off number 2 shut off sooner or later after we charge our gauge. Doesn't matter a bit. So we'll open this slowly. Okay, peg out the needle. We'll close it off here. And then we have to shut off both valves. So we'll turn off number 2. And we're going to turn off number 1. No, it doesn't matter if you have flush valves in the building or whatever you're doing. It's not going to impact on our test whatsoever because we have it isolated right here. We'll open up test cock number 3. We'll take a look at it, and whenever the water quits running out of test cock number 3, we have got our first check. 1.8 and we're there. Simple enough stated. We'll close number 3, we'll close number 2. We're going to move the hose over just 1. Charge it up. Bleed it. Isolate it. Open up test cock number 4. When the water quits running on test cock number 4, we've done 2 things. We have got our number 2 check, and when no more water is running out, you know that number 2 test cock is holding. Number 2 shut off, excuse me, is holding. If it wasn't, we'd have water running out of here all the time. That's as simple as it is for a double check.
Now, does that gauge have to be centered on the assembly, correct?
It does, because we're only using 1 hose, so we need to be right down there, but once you see, you can read it and just see it here. Okay, we're going to move over and do an RP. We obviously have the same test procedure that we have on a double check. When we come here, we'll take pressure off. In this case, always like to see that before I take the hose off. Okay, so again, we bled the test cock. We start out and we hook on to number 2. And this time, I'm going to do it just the opposite way. I'll shut off the number 2 shut off first, then I'll open it up. Matters none. It won't affect the test one way or the other. Don't want to slam the needle. Bleed it. Get it bled. We'll isolate it. We'll open up number 3 test cock. Once the water quits running out of there, once again we've done our number 1 check. Now we're going to move to the next one because we have to test the relief. We'll slowly take the pressure off the relief by opening this. Slowly, I said. There we go. 3. Now we'll open it wide open because I want that plunger to go all the way. Make sure it doesn't stick because there's no ring in there. Goes back and forth. So now we've got 2 of the tests that we need to do done. Again, we'll do the same thing for the RP that we did. And you can be your own judge here and do this. I'm going to redo, before I move the hose, I may decide because I've got a lot of air in the buffer, to take the air out. Let me call you right back. I just take the air out of there a little bit, otherwise you can bleed it through the gauge and so on. It works better for me if I do it that way. Hook on the number 3 test cock. Same absolute procedure that we used before. And that is that we charge up our gauge. isolate it, open up number 4 test cock. When the water quits running out of there, we've got our number 2 check. And again, we've checked number 2 shut off, see it's holding.
You'd have to have back pressure on number 2 to confirm that, right?
No, you wouldn't have any leak by.
Don't need, if it was leaking by here, it would be running out of here. There's nothing in between to stop it.
Hold it tight.
So it's held tight.
Why did we just do it that way?